Hello guys, Dylan here. I've decided that for this channel, I want to cover comic book related stuff altogether, and that being comic book related news or discussion pieces. With the news, I'll read over news articles and give my input and make quips where I can. And when it comes to discussions, it'll just be me talking about something superhero related. I'm going to be covering DC, Marvel, or indie stuff, just whatever I'm really into. So hopefully you guys will vibe with this content. Today we are going to be looking at an article. We're going to be reading over the fact that Marvel is changing the Punisher's logo. The Punisher's controversial skull icon is being replaced by Marvel. Marvel's newly announced Punisher series from writer Jason Aaron and artist Jesus Says, which yes, Jesus is writing, Jesus is apparently writing this comic. God, and Paul Azacata gives Frank Castle's infamous baggage-carrying skull icon a redesign, and I personally don't think it needs to be redesigned. I think that when you have an iconic logo, it should stay iconic. It'd be like if you changed Batman's Bat logo or Superman's S. People have done it before, but it never really sticks because people want their superheroes to be recognizable. And these icons are how you recognize them. If you change something even as simple as their logo, it can make them a completely different character. One of the preview pages for Sage shows Castle walking alongside members of the Hand. And rather than the skull on his chest is emblazoned with what looks like a tusked devil. So one thing I have to say immediately is, why is Punisher hanging out with the Hand? The Hand is a group of organized criminals. They're assassins. They're murderers. Why would he hang out with criminals? I guess I'm going to have to read the comic to find out, but it seems like to me Punisher would be the type of guy to brutally murder these guys rather than associate with them, seeing how he doesn't like organized crime, and that's kind of the whole point of his existence. However, it's worth noting that the cover art and other preview page from Azacata, set during a different period in Punisher's life, still include the skull, so they're going to phase it out altogether. And you can see right here, here's the new skull logo. It looks like something a fucking middle schooler would come up with. I don't know why they would be changing it. They tried to keep some of the iconic part of the skull, but it just looks lame. I think that the skull would have been fine if it just had the horns, but the bottom parts just make it look silly. It doesn't vibe right with me. And yet again, I don't like the way that they're drawing Punisher here because they're almost making him look as Asian as the Hand, which he is not. And I just find it weird. I find it weird that he'd even be hanging out with the Hand. And Punisher is not a ninja. I don't think he was a super elite ninja. He's just a guy with guns. That was the whole appeal of the Punisher, is that he's just a rogue vigilante running around shooting people. The Punisher's skull icon has been a symbol of the character since his first appearance in 1974's Amazing Spider-Man 129. Yes, in case you didn't know that, Punisher was actually a Spider-Man character first and then spun off into his own series later on. The symbol has also been co-opted by the police and military, which stands in stark contrast to Frank Castle's status as a man who takes the law into his own hands when the system fails him. So that's where I really feel like a lot of people have wanted this logo to change, and this is why I think the logo has changed. It's because people don't like that the people they don't like are using the logo. And I think that's just silly, because right now we're changing the Punisher's logo because of that, but how long till an alt-right movement or something else co-ops Spider-Man's logo, or co-ops Captain Marvel's logo? Are we just going to bend to the mob every time any political group or any fucking controversial group takes a logo and identifies with it? The Punisher's logo is just a skull. Why would you want to change a skull? Why are you letting these groups co-opt a fucking skull? Any cop who wears a Punisher logo in his official capacity is identifying law enforcement with an outlaw. Punisher co-creator Gary Conway wrote in 2019, "These cops are a disgrace to the service police officers everywhere." So let me get this straight. One of the people who helped write for the Punisher said that cops are a disgrace if they wear Punisher's logo. Maybe they identify with Punisher because he's a cop? Maybe they identify with Punisher because he takes down criminals? Why would you assume that they're bad people because they like your character? What's the point of making a character if no one's allowed to look up to them in any capacity? Now, am I saying that the Punisher should be an icon of virtue? No, he's not. He's a deranged madman. He's a fucking killer. But if people want to identify with them, I see it no different than fucking losers on Reddit identifying with the Joker. They show an imbecile level. So you're shit-talking the people who buy your books. Be lucky that cops are even buying and reading your books. Level of irresponsibility and should be fired immediately. Yes, it doesn't matter if you're an efficient cop. You wore a Punisher logo, therefore you bad. Bye-bye. You're gone. Get out of here. You're fired because he says you should be. Marvel Comics addressed the controversy in an issue of Punisher solo title, which saw Castle chastising a group of police officers for wearing his symbol. So not only do you shit-talk them in real life, you shit-talk them in the comics too. Why are you telling people to not read your books? This is bad for marketing. Why? Why would you do this? Telling them that he's not someone that they should be idolizing, which is true. And I think it would be better if maybe you wrote a story where cops decided to take the law into their own hands, put on the Punisher logo, and started going out doing things like the Punisher does, but doing it more sloppy. Maybe they get people killed that are innocent. Maybe they let criminals escape. They have some type of story where it shows that the actions of these fictional cops are the problem and not just them liking the Punisher. Be creative with the idea. There's a lot you can do with that premise, but I guess cops are just bad. After writing The Punisher over the years, I've always been fascinated by the character of Frank Castle, Aaron said when the new Punisher's Prestige series was announced. And that's something I've noticed with all these fucking people. The people who radically change these characters for the worse, the people who really fuck shit up, they go, I was always a big fan of this. I was a fan from the beginning. And then they proceed to fuck it up worse than anyone's done in its history. What moments made him put the Punisher even before that fateful day in the park? And how far will he go to win the war that has consumed his life? See, I'm a semi-fan of the Punisher, and even I know that the Punisher's war on crime is just an excuse for him to kill people. The Punisher is a mentally broken character. No matter what happens, he will always fight. It doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It just so happened to be criminals that killed his family, so he went out and killed criminals. But there has been alternate universes where his family died because of superheroes, and then he decided to kill all superheroes. It doesn't matter who it is or what the cause is. Frank Castle is insane. He will go around killing people regardless if it's criminals or not, and I don't think that you should be overthinking him. He's a crazy man. The end. That is his whole fucking character study. Spoiler, as far as it damn well takes. Oh, I really believe that you know the character. This story is the destined next step in the dark, tragic evolution of Frank Castle. There is nowhere you can take this fucking character. Frank Castle has been turned into a black guy before. Frank Castle has been turned into Frankenstein's monster before. Frank Castle has been turned into Ghost Rider before. Frank Castle has come back as an angel before. There is nothing new you can do with this character. It's all been done before. So the fact that you think that you can change him in any way makes me think that you don't know this character in the slightest. From troubled kid to heroic soldier to revenge-driven vigilante to dully anointed king of killers. Believe me when I say I'm excited about this story as anything I've ever written for Marvel. And that was all the information about the Punisher's new logo and the direction the Punisher is going in. It seems like to me that this is just yet again more pandering for pandering's sake. It seems like to me the guy who is running this behind the scenes really doesn't understand Frank Castle as a character and really holds him up to a pedestal that he is not meant to be on. Frank Castle is not really a complex character. He has always been pretty simple in the fact that he just kills criminals. Frank Castle spent many years being dead, and as soon as he came back, he went to killing criminals again. He is not some fucking Batman character. He is not some logical character. He is a serial killer, the end. Frank Castle is always at war with the people who killed his family, regardless if they were good or bad. And I think when you have Frank Castle become a ninja, when you have Frank Castle side with criminals, when you have Frank Castle change his logo and shit talk police officers, you miss the entire point of the character, and you miss the whole appeal of the character. Do I think that this change will last? No. I think this is just another thing to do to fucking disprove people online and fucking gripe at the groups of people they hate. I think that give it 10 years, the Punisher will be back to his old logo, and this will just be another footnote in history. But it's sad that we have to deal with this for 5 to 10 years, all because some fucking loser got offended by people liking a comic book. Hopefully you guys have liked this video though. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see this channel grow, share this video around and share my channel around to anybody that you know that likes comic books. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.